getting exciting now. Check that out. Oh, you can't. You are next. Chigee AIO-6. Here he comes. He's here. Hi. Willow Corner. Yeah. Did you see my... I didn't think you were going to find it. Thanks, buddy.
Let's take a photo. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Cheers. Wow. It's arrived. How exciting is that? DHL delivered the minute they said they were going to. Fabulous. The Eagle has landed. Chigee AIO-6. Chigee AIO-5. BMW. Little clip on the back. Clip straight into BMW mount. Now the 6 is bigger. A lot bigger. I'm going to call it the 6 from now on. I don't think we'll be selling many of these, to be honest. I think people are just going to go straight for this. However, this one's modular, comes with a few different options. Let's put that over there. Comes with a few different options. You can mount it straight to a normal motorcycle without BMW prep. You can buy this, which bolts into the back of this. That way, take the plate off, put the screws through, and that will now mount into the BMW prep. It's actually very similar to that. So that's a stroke of genius. So that enables the Chigee device to be multi-purpose, and they haven't got to build just BMW. They can add in the BMW plate, which I think is absolutely perfect. And you can get with it, if you so want, a quick release mount. "60 frames per second cameras." Now there were situations where the old cameras weren't fast enough and you'd need somebody's number plate and you just couldn't see it. They weren't quick enough. These should, and I'll test it, work. So faster frames per second, you'll get more clarity to be able to get numbers, plates. Quick release, so people that have got non-BMW prep, you can stick that on your bike. If it's a standard bike, that can go on the handlebars, and that's bingo, it's done. That's amazing. And obviously this is the Chigee AIO-6 LTE version. Now the LTE version comes with a SIM card. Now I haven't actually figured out what to do with it yet, but I'm pretty sure it just plugs into the side there. Now this is free for 5 months and then £50 a year. So therefore, this new device does not need to rely on a mobile phone signal. Well, it does actually. It doesn't need to rely on your mobile phone signal. So it should have full connectivity. I'm probably going to be speaking out of turn now, but I would have thought that this SIM is multi-network, and it's a data SIM only. That is another stroke of genius. Okay, I'm going to figure out what to do. So that's cable connectors for cameras and power. We don't need that. We just need that screwed into the side of that once I've connected to that. So first of all, you'd have to download the new Chigee app and get ready to connect this up and power it up. Before I can power this up, I've got to connect the BMW mount to that and connect that and screw that in. This is the camera quick release adapter. So when you want to pull this off, you just unplug your cameras and you're gone. So I'm going to zoom in now as you see what I'm doing. Right, now, don't laugh at me, I've not done this before, but it's not rocket science. Well, I have done it before, I've done it hundreds of times before in a very similar way. So, wrong one. So it's let's get these out. So these two little screws here are for the camera quick disconnect, and these are longer screws so you can put the BMW mount prep on. I love the fact that Chigee give you all the screws, and they're also security set as well. So undo the 4 screws and then take off the shock mount. Pop that into the USB connector there. And push it home. Take these screws with Loctite on them and tighten them up. You don't need to see me tighten those up. Cut. Decided to do this outside today in our little cottage garden. You can actually feel the Loctite binding in. Do not throw these away, they're worth keeping. Now the little screwdriver here, these screws are really tiny, so be aware. I think what I'm going to do first is connect that. Should I pull that out? No. So undo that and then pop, it's not going to rain on me, is it? Pop that in. Actually goes around the other way. So I've got to pull this out. That's going to be in my way. It's got a rubber seal on it, that can come out. So pull this off. I might be wrong there, but then if that is not going to seat properly because of that rubber, no, don't pull the rubber off. There we go, leave it on. Bad advice B. Just tuck it away under there, like that. Just leave it there flapping about, or stick it down with something. You never know when you might want it. And then pop these screws into here, tightening down. This is what I first said about Chigee over a year ago when I was the first UK importer. I suddenly started to notice, as I was putting the very first AIO-5 on my bike with cameras, that their engineering is beautiful. They're not cheap little stainless steel screws that you've just ordered off Amazon. They're actually specific parts to what they've made. Unlike others, like Capuride, they just used a screw they can get hold of. These guys have designed these screws to work. That's probably why these don't fall apart and Capuride do. Anyway, Get slated for that, but hey. There we go. So that is ready now for bike mount. So don't throw that away. Keep it. Keep that. Keep that. So I now have got another option here. I've got the camera set, and I'll just have a quick show you that. Their boxes are good. They're almost emulating Apple, and I can never get into them. Even though I've detaped that, it's still stuck. There we go. Set of 60 frame per second cameras. Total upgrade. Not sure what that is. I think it's metal. Yep, Ali. Wow, they have seriously upgraded the quality on those. Last ones are plastic. So, set of stickies, set of screws, go into that later. And they obviously just connect into the harness and connect straight into the bottom of here, and bingo, we're done. So that's for later. I'm going to go and put this on the bike. Also, I'm going to put in the memory card before I do that. So these are really fiddly, these screws. First one I undid, I lost the screw. This screwdriver doesn't actually fit these very well. Look at that button there. Listen to that click. They're much better than the old AIO-5. Yeah, they're more. They're a bit more raised, a bit easier to press. What was I doing? Putting in the memory card. So get these screws out if you can, which I can't because this screwdriver is not having it. So get the one out I can. Look how tiny that is. Let's lift the rubber flap and I'd say peel it back, but there we go. That is a really nice rubber seal. Look at that. So pop out the SIM card. This is obviously if you bought the Lite, the LTE. Don't know whether that was the right thing to do, but we'll see. Don't know if I need the big one. I don't think I do. Let's get this in. Now I don't know whether this faces back or front, but I'm going to figure it out. So it is the micro, so it's got to come out of this case as well. Look at that, that's tiny. Now this will only go in one way, and I'll let you know whether I've got it in right. So into that slot there, and just push it in. Make sure you get a bit of spring on it, like that, and then you will know that that is about to engage. And if you slip off, that's going that way very quickly, down the side of the decking. And that is that for now. I presume this is for upgrades later. Pop these back in, press that down, take this extremely tiny screw and buzz it back in. Okay, gonna cut now because I want to get this on the bike, so I'm going to bugger around with this for a minute because this is really difficult. Okay, cameras. Now, really simple. I'm only going to fit the front one today. That's the harness. That plugs in. If you look at your camera, it'll say camera back. Okay, and the other camera on the cable will say camera front. So that is, these are really easy. I'll quickly show you. So that's got a little ring around it that goes into this groove here. Get the little bolt and the nut and hold that in place. Buzz the nut through. And on this side, it's captive. Another piece of clever engineering by Chigee. And then wind this up, making sure, now this is a good tip, making sure that that arrow is at the top. But bearing in mind, if you're going under mount, that needs to be at the top. So spin it round so it's in line with the top of the bracket. Otherwise, you'll tighten this up and you'll have to do it under the bike, which can be a pain in the arse. And do this up fairly tight so it can't move. Leave the sticker on and then find a good spot for this once it's connected. Have a fiddle about and connect it. Connecting it is literally as easy as this. So that says front. There's front there. Line that up with that groove and tighten up my lovely little knurled section there. Done. And that is ready to go. Stick the camera up, feed the wire, connect it in. Cable tie it in various places. Simple as that. Do it yourself. But if you can't do it yourself, I'll do it for you. Because I know some people just cannot do things like that. There's certain things I can't do. Okay, time to fit Chigee to the bike. First thing to do, put this in a safe place. If you drop it, you'll be pissed off. Buzz off the screen. Keeping safe all the screws. And when you do the last one, leave it, pop the screws away in your pocket and hold onto the screen because it will drop down and end up scratching it. Put that screw away, take off the wind deflectors and place on a pile of grass. Now, some people would say you don't have to take these off. You can pop this off here, but it will scratch the screen. They are a pain in the arse to take off because sometimes the brass barrel in this section gets stuck. So Ross, we just want to come around this side and then look at these screws here. Buzz these out. Pop in pocket. That's the one with the brass barrel that always comes out. They may have corrected that now. They might have changed it. Which it looks like they have. Twist that round backwards on itself and pull. So, full circle, back and pull. Undo your seats. Christ. You're going to need to route the back camera through to here, across and up. Now, here comes the fun bit. So this panel here comes off really easily. Get your hand on it, put your thumb on there and pull. Okay, you're now, that flexes a bit, pop it up there, you've got access to all this and this screw here. So now undo that when you find the damn screwdriver. Buzz this screw out, keeping it separate to the other screws. And this screw here, are quite short. More fun about to happen. So this is clipped in here and held on with a bit of Velcro, believe it or not. Get your fingers under here and pull. I know it's scary, but it comes off. Velcro and clips. See the clips? It goes on really easy. But this is where you're going to hide your excess cable for your Chigee. Okay, so this is front camera position. There's a little ridge of data on there. I don't know what it's for. That's quite square, so that's a good spot to mount the front camera. And I know then that you won't be able to see the beak of this if you put it on the front line of that. Okay, then just tuck the wire up, feed it through there, cable tie it into place. Actually, you can't feed it through there because you may not have a light, so you might have to find a sticky pad and a cable tie to lock that up there, and then bring this cable, go back, out, and then you've got your rear camera, which is here in my left hand, and this cable is going to feed up, and the majority of it's going to sit around there. But the first thing you want to do, well, the first thing you want to do is put your front camera on, then your rear camera. Your rear camera is going to come this way, and it's going to sit under there. Okay, that's where it's going to sit. Now the cable, Ross, the cable is going to float through there, and that is perfect because the seat doesn't touch it. And then route the cable probably best around this way, and if you push it through there, you can actually get it in, tuck her in, and she'll stay there. There we go. And that'll stay there, and once that's taped, cleaned and 3D taped to the back, that cable won't move. So then feed this cable all the way down. There's my sound bomb, by the way. Good position for the sound bomb. See the other video. Feed this through. All the way to the front. Tucking it neatly down and behind all these electronics. Pull that cable out and stuff it in down and pass it back. Come over the top of the battery connector, and then you are through and clear. Now then I'm going to show you how to go from here to here in one easy way. Now the best thing to do here is I need it to go around the back here. In the past I've put it in the middle, but now I actually insist on going around the back. So feed it through, see if you can wiggle it out, try putting a bit of a kink in it. There we go. It's done. So pull that through, and then you are free of that bracket there, and if you do run it up the middle here, you'll crush the cable in the end. So that's quite neat and out of the way. Now undo that and bring it under here. Cut. Undo these two. Stick them somewhere nice. And now you can get that up. And now you can run this cable inside there and up under this horrendous grey plastic tank cover. And that'll be okay. It doesn't make it stick up. Where are the screws? Sure, I just put them down there. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Buzz the screws back in. Sticking these cameras on. If you don't clean the surface properly with a decent degreaser, this is the one I use, panel wipe. I'm telling you now, if you don't do this, these 3D things will just fall off. 3M pads will just fall off. And that's totally clean now. So when I stick that in a second, it will be bonded. So these cameras have got a notch on them. If you're putting it upside down, you need to spin that notch to the top. Otherwise your picture will be upside down. So line that up with the middle of the bracket and then nip it up with the right tool. Cut. Nip this up. As tight as you can. Well, not as tight as you can. Keeping it level. It's not going to get hit by much wind under there. And then desperately trying to get it straight, which is not easy. Okay, getting this dead central is actually quite tricky. So, excuse me if I fuck this up, but I might do. Getting the 3M tape off is bad enough. The top layer never wants to come off. So, yeah. Okay, that looks good to me. And give it a good press. And while you haven't got it pressed, if you need to twist it, you can. I think that'll be okay. And then don't forget to pull off the little protective cover. Here is a very good position to get rid of excess cables. So take your USB connector with the plug on the end and feed it up through here. Now, it's not easy, but it will go. And then bring all of the rest up, including this big fat plug as well, through here. Pull the plugs through one at a time, because they won't all go together. And then your camera wire will now end up here, which is perfect. Now what I've done in the past is, you see this little notch here? I've managed to get the feed for that old AIO-5 down through that notch there. So what I'm going to intend to do now is get this feed in there nice and neat. See? Let's see if I can do that. So run your cable where I said, through that little notch up to here, down to about there. This thing is probably a good idea to keep it on, but I find it flaps around a bit, so I haven't actually figured out what to do with it yet, because it's just a pain in the arse. It just flaps all over the TFT. So I might just wedge the little bugger down in there temporarily and then connect on the camera onto there at the end, not camera, unit on there in the end. So come around this way. So look what I've managed to do here. I've got it into that crack there where that little bug's landed. And then that panel will sit in there quite neatly, I hope, but we'll see in a sec. So then what I'm going to do is connect up back camera. Look at these two amazing connectors. Like I said to you earlier, they're knurled and there's tiny little rubber seals around them. They can only go in one way, that way, and then do them up. And then what I do is I wrap some tape around them just to stop them rattling. Back on, which we're going to do now. Now, just check it goes in. See that cable there? That is super neat. If you need a bit more, you can pull a bit more out. But I don't think you do. So just leave it in there. You've got to get it around the back of the ears, the ugly bits, the wind deflectors. So do your best to tuck it in and it'll work. Look at that. That's it. So now, get your panel. Follow me over, Ross. Now get your panel. Connecting these on's quite fun. Put that back in that position. Line up the top clip here and the bottom clip here, and bang in, bang in, bang in, bang, bang. Don't be shy. That's done. Buzz the screws back in, which I put safe down here. Which is lovely. And this screw here, making sure everything's flush. Don't forget to wipe your fingerprints off. And then this baby, where all the stuff is hidden, you clip back in like that. Flush, perfect, all lined up. Done. Not finished, but nearly done. Get your Chigee out. Go back. Line this groove up with this groove. Okay. And then press until you hear a click, and then slide, go around the back. Slide. Shit, where's the key? So this is it unlocked. That's it unlocked. Press to get it off. When you've clicked that in, let me show you again. When you've clicked that in, slide that across. It's got to be in the lock position. That's the unlock. Take your key out and she's stuck. To get it off, slide that out, press, she comes off. Make sure she's locked in. There's a little red indicator bar over here, and if it's not engaged, it will show it's red. You can just about see it above the Chigee. Okay, done. Now, connect up this with this, getting it around the right way. Maybe I did have it around the right way. Get that wrong, you'll be in trouble. Yep, that's wrong. Oh, that's a pig. There we go. The positioning of this is about there, I think. Cable tie rump, cut the cable tie. Now all I've got to do, keep on the front here, is pop the wind deflector on, which I'll quickly show you because people seem to struggle with that. Ugly bit. You can get these in tinted, by the way. Now remember I said to take it off, face it up, slide it in, twist it round, put the 2 screws back in. Now, what did I do with the 2 screws? Not in my damn pocket, are they? Yeah, yes they are. So that's that. I'll put those in a second. Putting the wind deflectors back in and the screen is really simple. The main thing now is to see whether the Chigee works. Shake your key, press the button. So that's that, the Chigee's on. And if you wait for a second, she'll fire up into my phone. There's a bit of reflection of your finger on there, that's it. It's fired into my phone now. So go back to Chigee Go to cameras. That's front camera. Rear camera. Done. You know when Chigee's recording because that light's flashing. Front camera, rear camera. And then that will cycle back to your apps. Now what I really like about this is the way the finger touch is just so good indeed, and it's so quick. Look how quick that is. OS Command is a bit slower, and I don't know why. But other than that, phone, messages, everything is there. Your Spotify, done. Now the other good thing that you need to set up on this is tyre pressures, obviously, that gets the information through the bike, is rear collision warning. Okay, that's the calibration screen. So back it up against the wall and make sure you got the camera totally lined up. In that case, I think I have. If the bricklayer was any good, that's great. Now, as far as I'm aware right now, that is all the calibration you need to be doing. Previously, you used to have to run a tape measure at 20 feet and measure it and blah blah blah. But as far as I'm aware, this is it. It detects within that zone. So just make sure it's perfectly straight and the job will be done. Now, I am totally happy with that. One thing I want to show you guys here, I am so pissed off. I don't know if it's catching on camera, but there is a scratch running from there to there. This device has not got a screensaver on it. Buy a screensaver. I've used this 3-4 times, and that's probably me going like that with a glove with a bit of grit on it. I tried to polish it out and it just won't go. So just don't be pissed off as I am. So there you go. Happy with that. If you guys think you can't fit this yourselves, give me a call. I can talk you through it, or I can do it for you. Other than that, we are done, and that was done in 20 minutes. There's not a lot else to show you. There's a couple of different home screens, miles per hour. Don't know why that's not going. Oh, there we go. Altitudes, bearing, weather, partly cloudy 17 degrees, sunset, wish it had gone down earlier, 21:13, and once we get going, tyre pressures, blah blah blah. Have nothing else to say. It's a great device, 100% happy about it. Get them on the website lifeisright.co.uk. Pre-order if you want. People that know me, give me a call. People that bought, from me, give me a call. I will do you something free. May not be a Chigee device that I'm giving you free, or Chigee item that I'm giving you free, but I will give you something free. whether it's a screensaver for your TFT or something else. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care. Please subscribe.